Towels to help rescuers locate you. That's the latest word from the U.S. Coast Guard for anyone trapped in their homes or buildings in New Orleans. CNN's Carl Pinhole is with the Coast Guard rescue teams and has their story.
Swimmer's going down. Sounds like she was in a boat.
A Coast Guard rescue swimmer drops out of a helicopter into the murky floodwaters. The chief of New Orleans Coast Guard Station says his crews have saved almost twice as many lives since Hurricane Katrina struck than they have in the last 50 years.
Roger, she's got a dog with her too.
Negative. That's fine, let her bring the dog, it's fine.
A happy ending for some, but down below, others face an agonizing fate. The Coast Guard say many citizens who survived the deadly winds and raging floodwaters are now dying of heat and starvation because the rescue effort is just too slow.
My guys are coming back and they're telling me, sorry, I went into that house through the window and there's 3 elderly people in there in their beds and they're looking up at me gasping and they're dying. And we got calls today. We need you to, from the overhead coordinator, we need you to go to a place in St. Bernard Parish. It's a hospice and there's 20 people in there. And we go there and there are 10 dead and 10 that are dying. But those people were probably alive yesterday or the day before. And there simply aren't enough resources.
Roger, I got 100 people that need food and water. Do you have any heavy aircraft to divert?
The Coast Guard Operations Center is overwhelmed with emergency calls. Pilots and crews are red-eyed and exhausted, but they refuse to rest.
Thanks a lot. That's awesome.
For every person that is rescued, hundreds more are still waiting. And as they wait, they're dying. A thought that's haunting rescue swimmer Chris Monville.
It's an awful feeling to know that you haven't got everybody in time. And we're doing our best to get everybody we can and as fast as we can. But unfortunately, just like with the temperatures down here and the lack of food and water, the weak and the sick, they expire first, and that tears at you.
He says he rescued 126 people in a single day. His comrades have similar stories to tell. They've been using axes and chainsaws to bust through roofs.
You're pulling pregnant women and babies through the rafters in the attic, and onto the rooftop. And that's when it's just, that's the most difficult rescue.
Another rescue swimmer, David Gray, has just returned from a mission to a hospice for mentally handicapped adults.
So you'd go room to room, get everybody together outside. There was deceased people inside.
Out in the hangar, maintenance crews are working round the clock too. They say they don't know what day it is anymore. They do know, though, that their task is far from finished. They know too that even when the helicopter rotor blades finally stop whirring, the nightmare will not be over.
How is life ever going to be the same in New Orleans? I mean, there's so many people who lost every single thing they have.
Carl Pinhole, CNN, New Orleans Coast Guard Station.